Hi there. Good noon, and it's a pleasure to see you after a brief gap. How are you guys doing? Is there anything else that you need to ask before we move? Any question, any development, any news, anything that you want to share? I'd be all ears for each one of those things. But first things first, welcome to BYJU'S exam prep channel that is dedicated to your success as a B School aspirant. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. My name is Vikrant and I am your personal coach for all things related to English and communication. So that's what I am going to help you out with on this channel. Occasionally also dabble into the psychological aspects of preparation. If you're interested, you can probably look at that as well. Okay, so that said, now that that's out, before I proceed further and take you through some more questions where you and I look at things closely and dive deeper, dig deeper, here is a thought for you. So go ahead, read it, and then we'll talk. So that's what is needed. Hard work. If anybody tells you otherwise, discard it. We can push you along the right path, we can give you the right strategies, but it does not mean that you can actually do without working hard. Hard work is still a non-negotiable, and you need to, of course, at the same time work smart. And by smart work, I mean that you go ahead, you use the right strategies to develop yourself further, the right strategies to become better. So let's go ahead, let's start with our practice. Here is a passage for you to begin with. The passage will be followed by 5 questions. The passage focuses on ecology. It is one of those areas that has been asked a fair bit over the course of last 6 years, and therefore I'd say that it's a good thing, to a good passage to read for you. So let's go ahead and start. The moment you're done reading the slide, let me know so that I can switch you over to the next one. Although in most of the cases I'm reading this along with you, and therefore I'd be able to hopefully pace you. So there you go, passage 1. Here is the start. Okay, next. Okay, the next. Okay, and here is the next slide. Next. Done with this? So here is the next. Okay. Ready for the next slide? Here it is. Okay. So here is the first question based on the passage, and right off the bat it is going to be an inference based question where I'm asking you to arrive at a conclusion using these three. So go ahead, share your answer, and then we'll see. All right, so let's dive into it. So we know that when the question asks us to infer something, we go ahead, apply a label true, false, can't say to the conclusions and decide on our answer on the basis of that. So A is true. This is something that can be inferred very easily from the passage. B is false because B says slow and gradual cuts is the only key. No. We don't want slow and gradual, we want urgent. So on the basis of the passage, B can be termed false. Okay, C, it is too late to take any action on reducing global warming as the trigger is already on and nothing can save the planet now. False. Urgent actions can still save us according to the passage. So out of the three, A is the only one which is true, and that is why our answer here should also be option A. Moving over to the next one, question number 2 on the screen. I will make myself smaller, otherwise you'd end up missing out on a part of the passage. So let me do that, and then you can go ahead and start answering. It is at times difficult to fit everything onto a single slide when it comes to RCs, no? Always a challenge. So now you notice why that phrase on the last slide was highlighted. That was for this particular question. Okay, so in this particular question, if you look at it carefully, I am happy with the first half of A and B both. Okay, so that's basically the correct interpretation of denial and delay are not strategies, they are a recipe for disaster. There are multiple ways of interpreting it. But the moment and the problem with C is that it does not even acknowledge this part. So C is off our choice straight away, out of our choices straight away. Now, when you look at the second half, they're a recipe for disaster. And then it looks at action that has been suggested in this regard, then A does not carry that action part, but B does give you that action recommended in the second last paragraph, where this particular highlighted phrase was to be found. And that is why B is going to be the only correct interpretation, and thus we should go ahead and choose option B as our answer. Here is the next question on your screen, and I'll go ahead now I can afford to make my image bigger once again. So there you go. Go ahead, answer this one, and then we'll talk. Okay, so this is more or less a simple specific detail question, where when you say only poor countries are going to feel the impact, this is false. That is not true, because eventually all the countries will face those weather related phenomena and the food shortages as per the passage. So first is false. I think we have an answer straight away, but let's move on. The efforts to counter global warming efficiently have been in action since ages and are now showing results. No, had they been showing results, we would have not advocated urgent action. So second is also false. Third, on the other hand, is true, considering that we are looking for what is not true. Third is ruled out. First and second are in, and therefore our answer is option A. Here is a main idea question for you. Another question type which is actually asked quite frequently. So let's see. So my favorite way of main idea is to use 180-degree approach, where I think of every answer choice as an essay topic, and I think what the scope of that essay topic must be. So when I look at A, the problem is it just mentions then and now, whereas the entire passage is talking about things that are coming out of the IPCC report. It's not merely a comparison of what used to happen earlier, what the climate conditions were earlier and what the climate conditions are now. This is very specifically about global warming and the IPCC report and the kind of things that we are being urged to do. So this is irrelevant, should be eliminated. Climate breakdown, okay, more than 3 billion lives now threatened by global warming, UN warns, okay, that can work. Global warming delays and denials, again no mention of IPCC, which is UN, so I think B scores over C. How about D? Report on climate and growing challenges to curb gas emissions. Hey, this, the first half was so spot on, the second half derailed it completely, and therefore we'd still go ahead and choose B as our answer. And with that, here is your next and the last question based on the passage. Okay, so how would you describe the tone? Positive, negative, or neutral? So I'm sure none of us is going to use positive, and we may be tempted to say negative, but then see, this is a passage where the author has not shared his opinion at all. He's merely sharing the opinions of others. So because there is no opinion of his, it will be difficult for us to call it negative as well. So the author is neutral. Now if you look at A, B and D, these are all negative and they get ruled out. The only neutral tone that we have here is in C, descriptive, and therefore we'd go ahead and choose that, mark that as our answer. And with that, let me take you over to the next set of questions. So here are question number 6 to 8. So I know that CAT does not ask us direct grammar and vocabulary based questions. Consequently, a lot of students do not focus on those areas even when they should. So this is my effort to fix that, correct that, where I had said from the very beginning of these sessions that I am going to ask you a couple of vocabulary / grammar based questions in each one of these sessions, so that you do not ignore it, so that you're not caught unawares when you are there writing NMAT or SNAP. Okay, those are also exams that you will be applying to. So in these questions, I'll give you 4 sentences. One of those will be grammatically correct. The rest of them are going to be grammatically incorrect. So your job is to identify the one that is grammatically correct and mark that as your answer. Here is your question number 6. Ready? Okay. So A is incorrect because it should have been politically repugnant. Political is an adjective. Repugnant is an adjective. You cannot use an adjective to describe another adjective, right? We use adverbs to describe other adjectives. So A is grammatically incorrect. In B, look at these and whole. These is plural, whole is singular, will not work, right? So that's incorrect. C, so they are arguing for something on one hand. This is very subtle, listen to it carefully. And then they're using shall. Now, we use shall with I and we, and we use will with everything else. We swap it to show certainty, to show promise, to show sort of a guarantee, a commitment, right? So when you use shall with third person, it is done to show a guarantee or a commitment, but this is still at a stage of being argued. They're asking for it. It is not certain, it is not guaranteed, right? And therefore, the use of shall here will be wrong. Okay, this is wrong. It should be replaced by should. So C is also incorrect, and that leaves us with D. D is grammatically correct, and that is why D is going to be our answer. Vedant says, could you repeat the question? And still there on the screen. The directions are 4 sentences. 3 of them are grammatically incorrect. 1 is grammatically correct. Your job is to choose the one which is correct. Here is question number 7. So what's your take on this? Okay. Vedant, you're looking for the one which is correct. So is B incorrect? Yes, it is incorrect. The will and the have need to go. We are talking about the past, right? They smashed storefronts and launched rocks. Not will have, which will be future perfect tense and will not be suitable. So B is incorrect, yes. But then look at this in a greatest existential threat. Greatest is superlative degree. Superlative degrees are followed by. So A is also incorrect. For that matter, even D is incorrect. It should be fundamental human right and not fundamentally human right. So A, B and D are incorrect. That gives you C as your answer. Okay, and let's try this one more time with question number 8. Okay, so let's check. B is incorrect because it should be environmentally damaging, right? Then which them had passed or which they had passed? So that's a problem. So C is incorrect. D, years ago, Barbara's parents, Ernie and Elsie, have held ballroom classes in the city. Okay, fantastic. But then look at the tense that is being used here. The sentence uses present perfect tense. Now, when do we use present perfect tense? When we want to talk about something that happened in the past, but we do not know when. So in those sentences, the time is not mentioned. Unfortunately, in this sentence, the time is mentioned. When did they held the ballroom classes in the city? Years ago. So whenever the time is mentioned, you're not supposed to use present perfect tense. You are supposed to use the simple past tense, which means that in this case, the have needs to be removed. So D is also grammatically incorrect. That leaves you with A as the only correct sentence, and thus that should also be our answer. Okay, so let's go. That's what I brought for you. But a quick reminder, if you want more practice, our window for All India Open Mock for CAT 2024 opens tomorrow. So from tomorrow, you'd be able to pit yourself against a lot of other aspirants who are going to sit for this particular exam. So make sure that you do write it at the earliest. Additionally, if you want to train with us more closely, we have a very comprehensive CAT 24 program. You can see the kind of features that it gives you. More than 300 videos which are made available to you. There are live classes, and then there are mock tests, and there is plenty of practice. And a lot of people think that we don't coach you for GD interview and VAT. No, if you do get a call, you are also going to be a part of our group discussion for personal interview and written ability test classes. And we've produced great results in the past. We're just lazy. I think we haven't updated our slides in quite a while, but we will do that soon. And all of that can be yours at a very reasonable price, provided you go ahead and perform really well in the scholarship test, which will be held on 7th of April. So what are you waiting for? Write the full length test, the All India Open Mock, get an idea of what the CAT is, prepare hard, and then sit for this test and save yourself up to 90%. And here is an information about the next workshop that we are conducting on our app. It will be taken by Srinivas, who's an IIM Indore alumnus. He'll be talking about how you can maximize your score in CAT 2024. So do attend it. I'm sure you would benefit from it. And if you want to know what kind of percentile you need to get into your dream college, do use a CAT College Predictor, where you just input your profile and we'd be able to give you a very accurate guess of what sort of colleges are going to be easy for you to get into. Okay, so that's it. If you have any more doubts, if you want to spend a time one-on-one with a member of our team discussing your preparation plan, or whether the course that we offer is a good fit for you or not, just fill out this form. We would love to help you, whether you join us or not, and that can take your preparation to the next level. So that's it from me today. I look forward to meeting you in my next session. I'm taking one for CMAT tomorrow at 12. In case you are interested, you can turn up at 12 for that CMAT session, and we can work a bit more. Right? So until then, stay safe, stay focused, stay in touch. Have a great day ahead, and I'll see you soon.